Good morning, one and all. My name is Amartya Chakravarti. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Advantage India Resources Limited. Today, we are here to present with a webinar. And before we start with the webinar, we just would like to share some things about Advantage India. Our motto being Learners Today, Leaders Tomorrow. Advantage India is an e-learning platform which has its sole aim in guiding, in aiming, which has its sole aim to guide students with in-depth knowledge of the various industries and domains before they enter the industry itself. Our motto, our ideology is to bridge the gap between the college academics and the industry, because whatever you learn at college, there is always a gap from what you have to face in the industry. So to bridge this gap, to shorten this gap, we have come up with this organization, Advantage India. Advantage India is committed to excellence, pledging a student experience to the highest of quality by a range of coaching techniques and methodologies. We create state-of-the-art training courses that offer students mind with the competencies they wish to triumph at. Why Advantage India? What distinguishes us from other similar organizations is the fact that we strive to maintain optimal quality. With every course and endeavor that we introduce, with a team of 30 plus hardworking individuals who share a common goal. Our organization also blessed with the guidance of experienced industry professionals in the capacity of technical advisors. Every association with our organization is deemed to leave you with a life-changing experience, thus sticking to our motto, learners today, leaders tomorrow. These are some of the colleges whose students have, registered with us, namely UPS, PDPU, Barmer College, etc. Why e-learning? India was yet to experience the growth curve in online learning in the way US or China had in the recent past. But the contemporary world have accelerated the growth by 5 to 7 years within a time period of few months. Our vision, we aspire to create an interactive platform for the students to amplify their competency and become aware with the proceedings of all over the world. We aim to connect the students from various walks of life with the professionals in the domain of their interest. We will not only correspond with the technical aspects, but aim to cover the interpersonal skills of the students for their wholesome growth. In our past endeavors, we have had the directional drilling course. We have had a drilling engineering and well construction course. We have had an aptitude quiz named as Mind Martians. We had a webinar on when completion accessories by Mr. Manish Verma. Webinar on the importance of planning for startups in the oil and gas industry by Mr. Mandar Pathak, Managing Director of Manan Oilfield Services, with a well-celebrated experience of 25 years. Webinar on data science, to which we are going to have a course in the upcoming days. These are some of the posters of the events and courses that we have launched. Our upcoming endeavor is our course on personality development and course on data science in oil and gas. The reasons that you should collaborate with us, that focus on overall development of students from technical to brand building, top tier faculty with active teaching experience at oil and gas companies, webinar on trending policies and of topics of the industry, certificates and its authenticity. We have had great student feedbacks, whoever have completed courses with us. Here are some, and there have been much more. These are our technical advisors, Mr. Sanjay Joshi, Mr. Milind Gokhale, Mr. Vipin Bhalla, everyone with handsome years of experience in the industry, Mr. Sameer Kale, Mr. Pulkit Goyal. So today we have with us Ms. Prajakta Kulkarni with the webinar on the topic making an oil field a gender neutral place. Prajakta Kulkarni, no matter what matter we say, words fall short to define who Prajakta ma'am is. But I will do my best to explain her. She graduated from MIT Pune in petroleum engineering in 2011. She started her career as a field engineer, general coil tubing in Baker Hughes. Now she is working as a technical and sales engineer in Baker Hughes. To have to be in the right places at the right times, you have to be a risk taker. And what is a more perfect example of a risk taking job if not field engineer as a woman? Women working on field are the uh, most important people who prioritize their career the most. Prajakta Kulkarni ma'am is such an inspiration to all of us. So I'll hand over the dais to Prajakta ma'am to speak a few words about the topic today.
Thank you, Amartya. It was really nice introduction about myself. So I would like to introduce myself in a brief to all of you. Like, I have graduated in MIT as a petroleum engineer in 2011, and that time the current market conditions was the same in 2011. I have also gone through the class of 2020, which is graduating right now, and class of 2011 was the similar case because mostly the industry was in the downturn that time. Also, the lot of new colleges came in, and there was a lot of competition in the market, but the jobs quantities were less. So I have gone through a lot of struggle in finding a job, like you guys right now finding it, and I have passed that hurdle, like, by qualifying interview with Baker Hughes, and I got chosen by their lead program. So Baker Hughes has this program for the graduate engineers called Lead. Now we have two more programs called Impact, and there is one for the main, like, senior level program. So you can join through that as well. And this program basically is the 3 years development program where you joined as a field engineer trainee, like field engineer one, and then you graduate as a field engineer general. So it's like a taking another engineering degree, but within the company. And after that, like, I have groomed myself to the sales side because I thought like I'm good at it. I can, after working with so many clients in India, like I worked with ONGC, British Petroleum, Shell, Reliance, then small clients like HOEC, BPCL. Then in Gujarat, I worked with lot of few, means, small clients. So after working with all these clients, I thought like, I'm good at it. I can sell technology very nicely, and I can work in sales very nicely. So I chosen this career path after I pushed myself after getting a field engineer general from Baker Hughes. And then I was looking because my experience was very limited in India, because in India we do a lot of conventional fields, and there is no high pressure, high temperatures. I mean, in Kane there are some, but not all the places you have. So also we have a lot of offshore inventory than the onshore, like, jobs. So I have done quite a lot of offshore jobs, deep water jobs for the Reliance here in India. And then I thought like, no, I need to have a global experience. So today's topic is really like, motivating for me, like how there should be like a gender gap which we have to fill. So this is one of the most important point, is like, till you don't come out of your risk zone or comfort zone, I would say, you cannot achieve that, because you need a global experience. Being a petroleum engineer or oil and gas field, you need a global experience. You need to see the different fields. You need to know the different reservoirs. Then only you can be a good at operations or sales or anything like in oil and gas. So experience matters the most. Like for young engineers, I would say, like, in the initial years, do not assume like, I need to get this promotion, get this. But I would say like focus on experience. What kind of different types of experience you are collecting, that is very, very important. So like after my general and spending a lot of years in India for 7 years, I pushed the organization to make me transfer somewhere else. And after a lot of hurdles again, because for a woman it is very much challenge in the industry. Like if I get transferred, what about my family, what about this, like how I will manage, how I will produce good revenue for the company. So after all that clear, like I gave a lot of interviews inside Baker also to get make myself in UAE today. And yes, I would say like in UAE, I have seen completely different picture of oil and gas. And here onwards also, I'm seeing like, I should travel more and more and see multiple countries and get good experience. So that's about myself. Now you can ask me any questions.
Ma'am, you said in the middle that you have worked with different organizations as well, such as
Yes.
Reliance and ONGC and Kane as well, because you even mentioned Kane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were working with them as a part of Baker Hughes, because Baker Hughes is ultimately a service provider. So you were
Correct.
working with these organizations as a part of Baker Hughes only, right?
Right. Right. Yes. Yes.
So, ma'am, as I understand that you started as a field engineer. Okay,
Yes.
you incorporated all your technical knowledge from your college years. You as you passed out as a petroleum engineer from MIT Pune.
Yes.
So, what made you change your mind, like to ultimately enter the sales and marketing sector of the oil and gas domain in the same, and why in the same company? Why not shift to some other company as well?
Okay, thank you for asking this question. Actually, sales in oil and gas is not like other sectors. First of all, like sales in oil and gas is very much like in conjunction with the operation. The person who has a operational knowledge, like suppose, I'm selling one tool, okay, but I don't know how it works, then it is of no use. Like that salesperson will not shine in front of a customer. So basically, you need to know in and out what is happening inside the tool, what kind of pressures, temperatures will change your dynamics of the tool. Or similarly for the other technologies like chemicals, if I'm selling some different polymers or like different frac chemicals to the customer, I need to know basically how this will react in the formation. So it is basically I would say like it's operational. You need to have operational excellence to get into the sales role. So this is kind of job which is I feel like excited me, and it has a like future opportunities to travel across the world. So and that's what I love to do, so that's why I chosen this kind of a career path basically.
So the sales and marketing sector of the oil and gas would also require the technical knowledge. So you actually have to be an engineer rather
Correct.
than a marketing person in the oil and gas domain, so that you can excel at your job, because you need to know very well about the tools and equipments you're selling to your buyers.
Yes,
And
exactly.
what,
Even McKinsey or other energy consultancies, they hire like experienced oil and gas as a consultant, like those who have the knowledge of field, those who have the knowledge in other sectors, like how to deal with the customer, negotiate with them, and also the pricing and budgeting. So all this the knowledge of the or qualities of the personnel make him a good consultant in oil and gas. While other sectors, I would say like software, IT, or like food sector, or like consumer goods, the marketing is not similar kind. It is more of the product base, or it's more of like a presentation kind of thing, which is with the only one product. Here it's not a same scenario, because you don't know what client is going to ask you, and it is a broad spectrum, I would say, in oil and gas than other fields.
Yeah, if they ask about drilling and they ask, like, they give you a, land perspective, and they ask what bit is to be used, and if you don't
Right.
know what bit is used for what kind of drilling, so you can't sell the bit properly. So that is the
Right.
whole thing. While in the other domains, you can just have a rough knowledge about the products, and you can give them an idea. So
Yes.
yeah, that is very true. So it's good to know that oil and gas domain, even after studying the technical part, all the engineering part, you need to have a good, wholesome development in terms of your communication as well, so that in the
Yes.
future you can grab opportunities in the sales and marketing sectors as well, which is, much more better, since, as you said, options and opportunities for traveling the world. Because let's face it, everyone loves to travel the world at some point of the time. So yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Ma'am,
Yes.
there's a message for you in the chat
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from Rayad Chogle. He writes, "Good to meet Miss Prajakta Kulkarni as an alumnus of MIT Pune."
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, since you passed out in the year 2011, and
Mm-hmm.
today is 9 years after that, today is 2020, and we have seen the level of equality between men and women increase over the past many years. So,
Correct. Very true.
my question, so in compared to 2020, in 2011, the equality between men and women wasn't that much, if we were to face the truth. So, how was your experience when you initially joined the petroleum sector as a field engineer? Because whenever you talk about petroleum engineering, everyone's like it's a hard job, and it's very hard working. You have to stay in extreme temperatures and everything. So, what was your experience? How did people treat you? Something.
Yes. So when I joined, like, I was deployed in a Durgapur, if you know this Durgapur Asansol area. So actually, it is located in the West Bengal, and it is very, very far out of anyone's reach. I mean, it is in between the jungles. So I was the only engineer, female engineer there, between the like total crew of 30 people, you would say. So rest of 29 people were male. So, and yes, it is means for me to start as a field engineer, it was very, very hard because the location was very, very remote itself. There was a no range for the phone that time, and that time the phones were also not very smartphones. I would say we were using the old Samsung phones or like Nokia phones that time, and
Nokia 3310.
yes, exactly. And it is like, after graduating from MIT Pune, and I spent my whole life in Pune, I never seen this part of the world. So it was a big surprise for me. Like, but though I was like an adventurer and trekker, so it was a really beautiful sight of the world which I was working on. So, but there was nobody to talk like as a female, or like there was nobody to share your feelings because the supervisor I had before, he was like 60 years old, and the people around me they are very, very older than me. Like I was the youngest female in the troop, but I would say like I never felt alone kind of thing, because few days initially yes, but after I started making friendship with them, like it is like a family on the field. Yes, the temperatures and everything, like in West Bengal in the summer season, it's extreme heat and humidity. So in the coverall, like you have to wear the coverall all the time on the field, and the safety boots and the hats and the mic. So it was really hard to work. And initial years, everybody expect you like to, he is the junior engineer. Catch him, and work for 12 hours, 14 hours, 20 hours. But I never said no to any work, like, any small work on the field. I never said no in my initial years of career. That's what's the advice my mentor gave me that time. Like, you can't say no. And that's what I followed basically. And like, I used to clean the frac cabins, coil tubing cabins, because that was the first task. And I used to ask like why I need to clean it, like, because I'm the engineer. of the cabin, and I'm here to monitor the job or here to design the job, not to do all these tasks. But they used to say, like, until and unless you don't do this kind of jobs, you don't know workers under you how much time they take. So suppose you tell somebody like go clean it, and he will be cleaning for 5 hours. Then because the field time is very very important for the client and as well as for you, and any small NPT costs you a lot of money in oil and gas industry. So every task, I would say, for a field engineer, he should be knowing at least. Nowadays the situation is different, everything is digitalized, monitoring system is also very different, rigging systems are different, everything is automated, but at least he should know like each task how to do it, like because there are a lot of troubleshooting time and a lot of failures also you experience. That time all this knowledge comes into account, like what you know about your field or your area of expertise. So that's what helped me. I spent, I think, longest days in the field, because before I was not very keen to, but after I started, like I started enjoying the field. Even before coming to UAE, I was on the field in Machilipatnam, which is in Andhra. It's a very very small town, very remotely located. There are no roads, or no hotels also. Like I slept in a very very small place, you would say. There was not, on the field there was that time, no toilets were there for the females or the males also. So you have to uh, take into account the area surroundings and go for it. Like it was a really hard time that time, but now I think ONGC also has come forward for the females, and they are promoting females on offshore also. They are building the facilities for the women, so that is a great part. And even in Kane Barmer, there are separate caravans now for the female engineers, or even male engineers, to have it. So this is the difference I have seen, like over the years it is happening. But when I joined, it was completely different situation, and now it is completely different situation. We were staying in the hotel, there was completely of lizards, so my 2 hours was like taking the lizards out because it is situated in the middle of the jungle in Durgapur. So yeah, it was a quite good experience. And also, like as you said, like why Baker Hughes? Because Baker Hughes has like hired me, and I love that company. I was wanted to work to a company like Baker Hughes since my college days. And when I joined, and they sent me on my first training program in Dubai, and it was a whole different experience because I get to know a lot of tools, technology. I met lot many people from the world. Plus, the company gives you a nice hotel to stay in Dubai, and it was a really nice experience. And this lead program has groomed me, like personally also, and like on technical levels also. For all these 3-4 years, we were with the company, building different skills, how to talk to person, because I was completely different when I was in the college, and today I can say yes, I am groomed because of my company. So, and as you said, in my career point, like I thought of quitting the Baker Hughes, joining some other companies. I was having the offers also, but eventually Baker made me stay, and they retained me because I think they also love me, and that's how I landed in UAE.
It was quite a journey for you, I'll say, with Baker. And
Yes.
Baker, to be very honest, is kind of like a dream company for so many people since their college days. If,
Yes.
most importantly, the fact when the Baker company comes to the colleges for the internship program, and
Yes.
they give a very handsome stipend for the 2 months they give the internship for, and then there's a chance for PPO. There's a high chance for PPO for the people who do the internship. This year was
Correct.
a bit different since the pandemic situation, the people who got their internships also got it cancelled. So it was a heartbreaking situation for them. So
I
let's
know.
hope for the better in the future. We have a
Yes.
question from Bhavesh Sharma. As
Mm-hmm.
his question is, as you said in 2011, we have faced same situations as 2020. How do you come back, and what was your experience during pass out?
Yeah. So, as I said, like I passed out in 2011. I was not having any job when I graduated from the college, because in my college only 7 people got placed that time, because there is
Out of a batch
PDPU.
of
Out of 75 people, only 7 people got placed. So it
wow,
was very, very tough for everybody to go and look out for the job. So I would say, like, number one thing for the today's generation, keep your ego aside. Keep your ego aside. Try sending like at least 10 people your CV with personal connection, I would say. Try to build some personal connection with the industry people, or try for like ask them for the mentoring. They will never say no for the mentoring. But suppose today, like, you're uh, adding me on LinkedIn and sending me a resume directly, it won't work like that. So you need to build your connections first, and then try to approach people and try to grab a position. So what I did is, like, when I graduated, I have no clue. I was not having any connection. I used to speak at least to 10 people every day. I have that agenda of every day, like, and what job titles I listed out, like where I can go, what is my interest. I have built my CV according to like what I like, what I have learned in college. I also remember, like, my one of my friend from the industry itself, two, three people, like we roamed complete in Mumbai to each and every company's office to give out the hard copies of our resume. Nowadays, it's not important, but that time it was really important, because some people don't used to look like, what is coming on their email. So we thought, like, better to go and talk and then give our hard copy so people will understand us better. So each and every company we covered in Mumbai that time. Even in Gujarat, we went and gave it to some. And I would say, like, try to grab good internships. Like, one of the conferences I went, and there I was talking, like, that I'm graduating, I love this field. And there was one of the managers. So one of the managers introduced me to that manager. And that's how I landed an internship with Halliburton. So I pulled my friend also in that internship, like, because they were having 2, 3 people
vacant.
vacancies. So yeah, so that's how you need to work in team, because in the end, team will give you the success, basically,
One
because you
helps the other.
alone. Yes, correct. In internship also, like, if you're a good team, yes, company will look for you, and they will at least offer a job to one of you. And yeah, that's how, like, I have started and bagging the company doors. Also, I thought of doing masters, so I gave the exams side by side, like, preparing for GRE that time. Or like, I never prepared for the gate, frankly speaking, because I'm not inclined towards that. So yeah,
After
but
studying 4 years of BTech, studying again, the thought of even studying more technical in masters is kind of like a disaster, or like a nightmare to many of the students. MBA still
correct.
is something management. It can still be done after a few years of job experience, and it's not technical as it's more like application based rather than technical. So people still go for MBA, but MTech
Correct.
is a whole different level altogether.
Yeah, I would say, like, there, and lot of Indian people don't know, like, in other countries there are a lot of courses which is based on economics. If you're good in German language, you can go to Germany. There are a lot of opportunities in Germany. Currently, also there are a lot of opportunities opening in the Germany. There are a lot, you can do, like, in Canada. There are a lot of courses which are 1 year courses which you can opt for. You can get a scholarship. It's not always like, but as I being also a middle class family from India, like there is a mindset of parents also, like, you know, you have to spend this much money, like, you know, 20-30 lakhs. That time it was a huge amount. So, but this is not the case. Like, you know, you can approach for the scholarship. There are a lot of in UK also that I know, like in oil field, you get a lot of scholarships. So basically, if you are planning to do masters or MBA, not MBA I would say, but masters, you will get a lot of scholarship or teachers assistantship or research assistantship if you are inclined towards that, or like great courses in economics, you know, and economics you can use in every sector basically. So you can
So
do
there
that
are
as well.
a lot of scope rather
Yes,
than just studying BTech. We are Indians. Our parents always force us that there are only two or three fixed scopes in life: engineering, the doctor, maybe law, and
yes,
that's it, I guess. Maybe CA as well. So these are the four things. So basically, we should actually look towards the foreign education
yeah,
courses, and get an idea from them that we should actually increase the scope for students to rather just not be stuck to these 3 or 4 limited options.
correct. And I would say like in Australia also now for the chemical side, like if you are interested in chemical side, there are a lot of opportunities. Not into the petroleum, but
In the
chemical
chemical,
side.
the
Yeah,
downstream sector, I guess.
yeah, downstream sector, correct.
We have another question for you from Bhavesh. His
Mm-hmm.
question is, it's actually dependent on related to your segment. You said that you went for a conference and you talked to a manager who introduced to somebody from Halliburton, and you
Correct.
ultimately landed a Halliburton internship. So his question is how to approach internship in Baker Hughes after third year.
Okay, so yeah, there are ways like in Baker Hughes also, like last year, last year, I guess I remember there are students from UPES, PDPU, MIT, like we hired like 12 to 15 interns, and also there are PPOs given, like, you know, pre-placement offer to these students. So most of them I know, like they come for, like, suppose I'm working in Baker Hughes and you know me and how influential I am into the management, like, you know, to get you an internship. So people have connection with those kind of people, or their placement coordinator approaches Baker Hughes HR, and he got or she got into through the interview round, or and into the Baker. And also Baker has a criteria: your CGPA needs to be 3.5 out of 4 to get into internship
What
or
about
job.
like earlier it was 4 CGPA, now the CGPA criteria is 10 for the colleges. So if it's 3.5 out of 4,
Okay,
then
yeah, yeah.
what's the case for out of 10?
Out of 10, I think it's 8.5 or 9.
That's that's very pretty high.
Correct. Yeah, so it's one of the criteria, but it's not always the criteria. So basically, there are ways to get into, like, in internship. We don't look that much, but yes, for the job, if you're applying on the site, yes, they look for this kind of criteria. So they look for your degree certificate. They look for your CGPA if you are applying online. Also, you can apply internship through online portal where you can fit best, and you know, your profile, like I would say like a cover letter should be impressive when applying, like for the internship or for the job. Also it should be different than like a normal ordinary person, because a lot of people, a pool of people is applying. So basically Baker Hughes judged on the criteria of, like, I have recently done the post on the LinkedIn what kind of skills we look for in a person who can get hired with Baker Hughes for different kind of. Suppose it's a reservoir engineering, then they look for like a person who has a ability to concentrate for long hours. He can sit in front of a laptop. He is a tech savvy. Then he can do a good analytics, like interpretation of the data basically, and the questions will be related on that, like It is not. Also, like in internship, before the internship, we take the interview in 2 days process, or job also. So in that process, they judge you, like you have to present 3 minute extempore on one of the topic. Like suppose they give you a lion, then you have to talk on the lion topic for 3 minutes. Then there is a memory test. Basically, they will show you different kind of tools and their names. You need to remember, and they will do rearrangement, and then you have to pick what you have saw before. So there is that kind of test. Then there is one on team building where they will give you a case study, like example, make the tower, longest tower out of the straw. So your team has to make, it is a teamwork, they judge on the teamwork and how the construction has been made, how much is the height, and the longest one, of course, is the winner. So if your team is good and your team communication is good, of course you will build the longest tower. If you are not good and there are multiple views and you are not agreeing to that, I mean, you're not a good team player, then you will not able to build that. So these are the few criteria. Also, like now go to the next HR round. So they will ask you like how much pressure. Suppose they will give you pressure based situations where how you react, like because in oil and gas there are a lot of pressurized situations. Suppose the failure happens, how you will handle the client, how you will handle the your crew and yourself. So because everything is related to money, so they will give you a pressure based example and then you need to conquer that. And some of the interviews they give the puzzle also, like there are 6 full glasses of water without touching, I mean with touching only 2 glasses, how you will make it half up. So it's kind of that kind of puzzles also come. So yeah, and in internship, if you land and you do good work, and then in the end you need to present to a jury where 7 8 people sits. Basically, one is from HSC, like how safety is also one of the criteria, of course, because safety is very important in our industry. Then there is one HR person, like he or she will judge you on your soft skills basically, and communication skills with others, and idea which you are presenting or the project which you are presenting. Then third person is your project manager, basically your mentor, which Baker assigned to you in during the internship. He will judge your technical knowledge, how deeply you studied the project and how you are presenting. And the fourth person is like a from finance background, how you know the project financial also.
Basically, you should
Or
know a wholesome about
picture.
your project, a wholesome picture in terms of yourself. You should be a good presenter. You should have the technical knowledge. You should have worked well in the
Yeah.
under your mentor. You should know about the safety measures, and you should also know how financially you are efficient. Your project is
Correct.
efficient over the others,
Yeah.
so
So
that you
I
can land a PPO maybe.
correct. And internship level, like we don't look too much like you are advanced too much in finance. It's a basic finance knowledge, basic technology knowledge, basic communication skills. So that's how they judge on, not like advanced. Or sometimes students like they think in the mind too much and end up presenting which
Get
is not
nervous
required.
and
Yeah, correct,
uh,
not required. Yeah. So I have been in such kind of presentations, that's why I'm telling. Also, like I would say, like you are applying in today's market. If you have a small video or like a graphic kind of interview page of yourself to introduce, it would be great. I mean, it is a new way. So
so
I
to
don't know. Yeah,
add something
digital.
in the CV, digital
Correct,
something, digital representation of ourselves in the CV. That's a
correct,
new.
correct.
Uh,
Hmm.
so
And
that's a helpful advice to all our participants over here.
yeah, and in resume also, I would suggest add your picture in a formal attire. That makes a difference. Plus, your email ID and phone number should be there to contact you. And today's word also LinkedIn profile. It's very important.
We have another question. from Riyadh Jogle. Can we get jobs as a fresher in the company we wish to work for? As we know, the oil and gas industry has faced somehow a major fallback in 2020.
Yeah, so I would say like yes, if you are passionate, of course you will get a job in the company you dream for. And basically, if you are applying for the job which the company you like, you need to know everything about that company, what role. You need to study the company's portfolio thoroughly before going or applying for the job. And 2020, yes, the year, the pandemic, nobody has imagined and nobody has faced before. Of course, it changed the way of working for everybody right now, and companies also, because oil and gas works basically on the profit and loss every year's. Lot of employees get employed and lot of get rift also, like the retention is very high. Sorry, attrition is very high and retention is less. So you need to be very, very good, I mean, to get into the industry also. like as this industry works on, like, I know I'm coming from service sector. So major companies like BP, Schlumberger, Halliburton, Baker, everybody, they have a huge number of employees to cater. So when this pandemic happened, like they stopped hiring because the job volume reduction is there worldwide right now. There are a lot of rigs. I will not lie. There are a lot of rigs which are not working right now, and which are reduced due to production cut, due to pandemic, everything. But this scenario will change because, as predicted by the experts in the industry, like mid 2021, we will start seeing oil up again. So this will not remain because oil is everything. Like, we cater to the plastic industry, fertilizer industry, then process industry, I mean normal petrol gas industry. There are a lot of businesses like gas turbines and everything. Everything needs fuel. You cannot go electrical for everything. Suppose, like, yes, motor vehicles and cars are coming electric, but not other industries can come electric in. So of course there will be a jobs, there will be openings again, there will be a demand again.
Uh,
So I would say, like, wait for few months, and till that time you can build your skills, whatever company needs you, or you can do internship. Or now in India there are a lot of startups. You can approach startup for work for free of cost right now, and get some experience of business, how the business runs. That will help you to get a job, basically.
Basically, gathering experience and enhancing your skills as of now is much more important because the
Yeah.
market is somewhere low and getting jobs as of now is a bit tough. But
Yes.
maybe in the coming few months when the 2021 starts again, and maybe a vaccine comes out and everything normalizes for the better. So
Yes.
these skills and experience that we gather during this whole time would be the ones which would be beneficial for us getting a core job in the oil and gas domain, considering
Correct.
for the
Yes.
oil and gas students.
Yes. Right.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Nishant sir, could you please turn on your mic and video so that you can add on to this question? While he, yeah.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Nishant. I am currently working in Halliburton Offshore Services in cementing PSL. So basically, I have seen that this is a very common question for every petroleum engineers, that how can we job in oil and gas industry as a fresher. So I just want to add on. I totally agree with Praja Kulkarni ma'am. Basically, now I am associated with the offshore and onshore project in India, and but due to COVID-19 during this pandemic, all the mostly the onshore project has been stopped. If you talk about Barmer, if you talk about Rajasthan, Ranchi, Bokaro, so most of the project has been stopped during this pandemic. But a student are totally afraid that how can we go job in oil and gas industry, because there are very few opportunity available. But I just want to say that don't be panic, because the dust will settle down. And once the dust will settle down, the opportunity, when all the operation has resumed or start once again, so automatically the vacancy will come, and the company will start hiring for the fresher. Because I graduated in 2019, and from Graphika University, and where no company will come for the placement. So it's a very tough for me as well to get a job in oil and gas industry. But if you, ma'am, I had already told you that build your CV, resume, and make contact with the uh, oil and gas people through LinkedIn, through other social media platform. So it is a time to build your connections. It is the time to build your connections, improve your communication skills, improve your technical skills, improve your business skills, to enroll, to associate with any of them who knows very well. So when I passed, when I graduated from my college, there is no any company to came in our place for the placement in our campus. So what I have done that time, I start improving on my, I start working on my CV, and I did my internship from Reliance, from ONGC, from HLS Asia Limited, and I applying 3 to 4 companies on a daily basis. Whenever I get some contact, I build connections on through LinkedIn platforms. I always used to send requests on LinkedIn to at least 3 to 5 people. So, and I start chatting, please help me, and I make a good resume, I make a good cover letter. So when you start applying in some companies, so I think I applied more than 250 companies, and I few of them I replied on my mail. And when I completed my graduations, I got 7 placement at that time, not from big companies, but yes, I got 7 placement at that time. So this is the time to uh, build your connections, build your CVs, and build your communication skills as well. So definitely we will get job in upcoming days or upcoming years, because when a operation will start, I think there are a lot of prospects which is non-discovered in India. Okay, and government will try to boost up the operations. Because as we know that our honorable Prime Minister has already announced that by 2022 we will reduce the 10% of total imports from outside.
Correct.
So yeah, so as we know that how is it possible to reduce or cut the imports? Because we have to generate the oil in our country, or it can be dependent, or it can be happened due to some alternative source of energy. But we are completely don't rely on that, because solar is, with the help of solar energy you cannot fly the airplanes. So oil is very important. So we need to in Barmer I think more than 350 wells has been the contract of to the Baker Hughes. Okay, in if you talk about Rajasthan, sorry, if you talk about Jharkhand, I think more than 60 wells, 68 wells are remaining to drill. So there are a lot of have been drilled. Wait for the right moment. I think wait for the right moment, and it definitely will get job in the oil and gas industry.
Thank you, Nishant sir, for your.
And
Yes, ma'am. You have something?
I want to add, like, some people took education loan for the bachelor's degree, and they cannot afford to wait. So they can, like, approach small companies like in India, which are like a suppliers basically, and they always make a profit. I mean, if market is up, down, they are not affected that much. Like, Parveen Industries there, which makes BOPs, risers, and other PCE control stuff. There is a company called Askara, which is into the sales. Then there are a lot of chemical companies which are situated in Gujarat, which gives oil field chemicals, or in Mumbai also. in Taloja area or Patalganga area. There are a lot of companies which they can approach, or tool making companies, like they always have something. I mean, at least they can get internship there right now, and they can get the skill developed.
They can work their way up from these small companies to the larger companies when the time is right.
Yes.
One question we have from Mayuri Kalane. I am also one of those students selected for Baker Hughes internship, which unfortunately did not happen. So, is there any chance of us getting considered by the company in future?
Yes. So actually, currently, if I say like you are got selected already, okay, so you are like your CV is with the company, as a person to the company. So I would say like be in touch with the person or HR who was in contact with you, and be in constant touch, just to like weekly or 15 days you can send gratitude or a kind of email, like just you are looking for a internship again with Baker, and I know this pandemic has happened. Yes, company always looks, I mean, once the business start moving up, they will take the interns for the India. Basically, I know like a lot of operations right now are shut completely, but they will start again, and then they will need interns again. If you are in constant touch with the person who hired you or who gave you the internship, you will definitely go back again and you will have it.
Thank you, ma'am. So basically, right now is try till you succeed. A situation, something like that.
Correct, right, yeah.
Okay. Some more questions that we had for you. Uh, where the question, some of the questions we have. What is your experience in the oil field right now? Have you seen any progress since you have started?
Yes, definitely. I would say like when I joined, as I told you, like I joined as a field engineer trainee, like and I grew up like now my title is a lead technical sales for coil tubing basically, and I have seen progress, personal levels, professional level. I would say like I was thinking of achieving more, but the industry doesn't work like that, and this industry is not a software industry or any other industry which gives you like quick promotions, so you need to spend years to get to a good level, and yes, definitely I grew up like my communication skills, my technology skills, my petroleum knowledge, I would say, my different fields knowledge. Also, I roam with a lot of countries and seen meet a lot of people. I engage with now here also in UAE on universities, with the universities. Like I used to be engaged with universities in India also. Now I'm here also engaged with UAE universities to promote oil and gas, and to get more women basically in oil and gas. And as a woman, I would say like to get a senior level, because there are a lot of few women right now also. Only 15% of the oil field has only 15% of the women currently also in 2020, compared to men. It is a very less ratio, and to go to the senior management level, basically there is no proper path. Once you get out of your college, or you need to build your path. So yes, I am also fighting for the management level, of course. That is a personal fight, but on personal levels I grew up on different directions, which is good. I mean, when I passed out of college, I don't know what is PNL. I mean, how it looks like, or how to read the PNL. Today, I can read the complete business PNL. I can present it. I know what is how we calculate profit, how company works, what margins it works, how to build a strategy. So these kind of skills I learned over the years, and also like as I said, like I have gained so many peoples in my life due to field. They are like my family. and I can look up to them like, anytime. So these are my like, gains from professional years of my career. So there is not always a, I would say, promotional growth, but there are a lot of other growths you will get.
In terms of professional growth, wouldn't you say that people who join as a field engineer in the oil and gas domain, uh,
Yes.
they definitely get a better starting package in comparison to people who are joining other domains? So that's why there maybe their promotions are faster because their pay was already very low, and since you start with the oil and gas domain, people start with a higher pay. So and the work is also very hard. So the promotions are comparatively slower. So
Correct.
would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, as you said, like, I know like my friends who did software engineering, they start with the package of, less package compared to mine, and I started with more package. But today, if we compare ourselves, like we are on the same level.
Yeah.
They reached to the same package which I am today, and I reached to that package like quite, of course on the same years, but quite slowly
Yeah.
basically. And yes, starting package of the service industry is lucrative, but the next gains are not that much. So people, sometimes operator company they join and they get a good growth. Sometimes service company don't give you that much growth. So it is depend on the personal choice, I would say. But yes, of course, starting package is good in oil industry, but later, for every increase you need to prove yourself and uh, perform up to the mark of the company, then only you will get a promotion.
So working
And
hard is very more important in the oil and gas domain as compared to any other domain, we'll say.
correct. And some industries has yearly promotional criteria, but service companies basically, I'm talking only about service companies. Operator companies also have that yearly promoting criteria, but service company doesn't have that kind of thing. So you need to really prove yourself to get promoted to next level.
So proving oneself's worth is very important in the
Correct.
service companies.
Yes. And after joining Baker also, I said like, I did a second graduation because
Ah.
it's a 3-year course which taught you everything about your product line and in very much deep, and every exam you have to score 85 and above, then only you will be remain in the company. So yes, there is a training program. First training program is at 2 months now. Before it was 8 months. Now it is only 2 to 3 months. So in that there are 7 to 8 tests on different topics. They will teach you, of course, and then they will take the test, and you need to score at least 85%.
Uh, some more questions that we have for you.
Mhm.
Um, isn't it more important to improve gender neutrality in the college first? Because as we see in engineering colleges, so when I was there even I am from an oil and gas domain. I was in the UPS with AP Applied Petroleum Engineering Gas. So we had somewhere around 120 students in total, where we had roughly only 12 students who were girls. So, and
Correct.
similar was the case for applied petroleum engineering upstream. So,
Mhm.
it's a common mocking topic that the mechanical stream always has boys and no girl, and even if a single girl enters that stream, it's a big thing because it's always a topic of mockery that mechanic in the mechanical domain there is never a girl. So, what would you comment on this?
Yeah, so yes, actually in India, like, basic levels like in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and management, or like, mathematics, like girls coming from the, like, because we are spread so much, and there is a literacy levels in some states are less than compared to some states. And so the girls basically coming into the STEM is very much less. There is no awareness. But now, like as government are taking initiatives, like there is a whole ministry of women, and I know my one of my friends, she's a delegate of India, which she is representing India on a different level. They are doing such kind of efforts to get more women into the STEM side, and there is a lot of awareness programs also for the women in India, like to get into the engineering side. I think the picture is changing now. Like 10 years back, I was having only 4 or 5 girls in the petroleum sector. Now it is like more 10, 15, I would say. But basically, a lot of people don't choose petroleum is like because they don't want to move because petroleum is a traveling job, and you need to work on a remote locations. If you get a client company also, you don't know where you will be placed. Sometimes people don't want to leave the hometown, or software job is more 9 to 5 jobs. This is a black collar job, more hard work. Sometimes in petroleum industry also there is a comparison, because men can do physical work in a better way. That is the concept basically, and women cannot do.
Stereotype.
But
I
now,
believe that's a big stereotype. That's never true. Like if looking
yeah,
at mothers, the mothers can do a hell lot of a more work than the fathers. So I,
correct.
for one, don't completely believe on the fact that men can only do more, physical amounts of work.
Yeah, and also like I would say like yes, and that's how the industry also looks basically. The perception is like coming from the society only, like you cannot do, and then they put you in some different fields and like office jobs, and then you get stuck. So basically, we need to, yes, of course, from the college level, it's a very good point. Like, if there is awareness from the school level, I would say now the education system of India is changing. That is a real good point. I mean, we can see in 2030, the batch coming will be a totally business based education than what we have today, which is very, very good. Like, it is currently in a lot of countries like US, UK, everywhere is the that kind of education system we will get in India also. So I think the awareness is
More
happening already.
application based knowledge compared to just bookish knowledge, which would be
Correct.
like more great, because as of now everyone is only behind marks and only behind this bookish knowledge, and when they ultimately enter into the industry, it's a whole different thing altogether.
Different. Yes, yes.
Because the academics they have studied never matches what they are actually supposed to do in the industry. So the industry, the company itself gives an training, first gives the training for a certain amount of time, and they don't even expect the students to know anything. They're like just teaching them just from the scratch. So
Correct. Right,
like the
right.
first topic for them is like unlearn and then learn. So that would be great for the upcoming generations with a new education system.
Very true. Yes. And also I would say girls needs to change their mindset, they can do everything today, I would say. Like, and they need to change the mindset, and they should be more adaptable. Sometimes they do compress, themselves to so that also affects. So but now I think it's changing pretty much. So yeah, it's good.
1 second. Yeah, I'm so sorry for the hold. Yeah. So there's another question from the people. There's a question from Dhatri Sanya. Can I know the opportunities for the women in the present oil and gas industry? I mean, what are the types of job we get?
Okay. So there are a lot of jobs for women in oil and gas, I would say. Like there is a one job is like a field engineer job. There is subject matter expert, SME jobs. Then there is, you get to know all the complete technology and you will be a subject matter expert. There is R&D jobs, like a scientist based job, like where you will be put into R&D sectors and then you will be a research scientist. That kind of job is there. Then there is like finance related jobs, like you will be handling a complete project finance, and you will be a finance manager in oil and gas. Then there is a, there are different departments in oil and gas as well, legal, commercial. So you can go in the contracts management. That kind of jobs are also there. Then there is job for, like, reservoir engineering field, formation evaluation. Then there is a client side, like a workover engineer, completion engineer, drilling engineer. Then also, like, I have seen in accounting roles also, the women are coming up. Like, then there is a consulting with Accenture and Wipro and L&T. They have oil and gas startups, so they can offer you consulting jobs as well. Plus, there is now data science and analytics jobs. Lot of companies are offering that also, like IHS in India and Baker Hughes also. Digital jobs are also there. Like if you're good at petroleum, also you love coding and everything, and you can go in data science or digitalized jobs. So yes, there are a lot of. So as a starter, like you need to look into your interest and apply, like, and or you can take internship and you can find out your interest, because sometimes people don't know what they like. Coming into industry, like what are different subjects and how they work. Suppose somebody likes cementing or completions in the college, but after coming to industry, it is complicated and people don't like.
So basically, it's more upon the choices. It's not anything like what women can get or what men can get. It's more
Yeah,
upon your choice. You select, you study, and whatever suits you, you apply for that. There's no,
yeah.
barring depending upon your gender.
No, no, no. I don't think so. And yeah, they are given equal opportunity in today's time in every sector, every product line, I would say.
So, ma'am, we'll just like to conclude. Would you just
Sure,
give us a concluding statement?
sure. So I would like to say, like, currently the market conditions are like not very good 2020, but don't lose your hope. And I would like to give one example. There are two mice which fall into like cream, and one is dead after some time because he cannot float in the cream, or could not attempt to float, and he gets dead. And the second mice turns cream into the butter, and he comes alive. So so there is always a hope. And it's on you how you develop yourself, and how better, like, every day, like from yesterday, like how you can conquer, how like you have this skill. So find out that and work on that. Plus, if you have like a plan, always there should be a plan A and plan B. If this doesn't work, the plan B should be working. And you should work on that, and you should always make a industry connection or mentors. As you said, like Advantage India has lot many people. Like I know personally Samir Kale, then Sanjay Joshi. They are very very helpful. They have industry contacts. Mandar Pathak. If you approach nicely and a professional way, they will never say no. They helped me in the past. Also, I am also available for any advice if you want to take. I'm always available on LinkedIn or email. I'm always available there, and I can guide you through my whatever experience I have. But I'm always very less experienced than all of these guys which you have on the platform. So yes, having a mentor is very very necessary in life, because you don't know, like you always see yourself as a growing, but mentor can always tell you what you are actually and where you are actually at. So I would say like get a good mentor, and that's my advice for all young engineers. And never say no to any opportunity. Right now, every opportunity counts, and every skill is important. So thank you so much for inviting me, and it
Thank
was
you,
a great
ma'am.
pleasure.
The honor was all ours. It was a lovely webinar. The topic, it was a lovely discussion over the topic, and I hope it was very insightful for all our participants again. Looking forward to maybe calling you again for some topic someday, and so that it can inspire us, and it would be a great honor to host you again.
Thank you. I really love your team and the professional approach. And I wish you all the success in future, and your company shall grow more and more. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you to all the participants who attended this webinar. And I hope everyone learned something very insightful about the oil feed and the oil and gas domain. And lastly, to conclude, I would like to say, as ma'am said, to not lose hope because the good times are yet to come. Develop your skills, develop your, develop everything that you can within you as of now, because when the right time comes, these skills and these experiences what is going to help you forward.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am, once
exactly.
again.
Thank
Uh,
you for all
and
participants, and I hope they like the things I have shared. And if something more you want to know, like you can approach me anytime on LinkedIn. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.